streets of New York City. It's DJ L7.
Make a clap to this.
Yeah, yo, come on. People, are you with me? Here we go. People, are you with me? Ain't no stopping this. Nah, ain't no stopping this.
I become the most wanted, but is it worth hearing a million people problems are followed by Secret Service like us?
Step on back, catch a heart attack, cause I'm back.
I wanted to know if you think, and if you asked the United States to specifically accept more refugees.
A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Yep, you see? I knew that would happen.
Hold it! Putting an end to all the laughter.
Cause you're alive right now. There's so many that's dead or locked up inside the beast on my highlight now. Look at what this country's got. There shouldn't be nobody homeless. How can the president fix all the problems when he ain't fixed home yet?
L7 here with one of the wrongfully convicted. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Otis Johnson. My name is Otis Johnson. You can see my documentary, Otis Johnson, my life over 44 years in prison. Wrongful conviction, just because I had a tan jacket on. Right now, I'm working with Youssef and a couple other brothers that deal with wrongful conviction.
Yeah. Yo, we're trying to get some issues on that. Kamala Harris has a really bad record on this, and we're going to try to get some justice.
Best in the game, let's clear the air.
I'm going to keep it a stack. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I had a bad
Damn, son.
that I've been trying to get on for like the last 3 years. I haven't spoken to this girl in so goddamn long who gonna have the audacity to text me, we need you a part of the campaign. What the is Castanet gonna talk about in politics, man?
If something jumped off, you should know who did it. I break the CD in half and blow you with it. Ya faggot ass niggas better chill till the Chris gone or get knocked out and pissed on.
Shower. You know the guy pees on you? He on you everywhere.
White men like Trump need to be banished. That way of thinking is real dangerous.
And now, a very important message.
Parents come, so I said, where's the paperwork? And all of a sudden, they don't even respond.
That disappeared, right? Okay.
He said, that's the football field. And I went out here, I said, yeah, it ain't right. I said, that's a football field. Well, that's more than a football field. I'm going to give Bryce
I can
this.
tell you that.
I'm going to give Bryce this.
That's about 2.5 football fields.
Hey, man, you going to need this, man.
There ain't no competition cause I'm on a mission. I'm sick and tired of political setbacks. Too much red tape and pop, so forget that.
Founders of Black Lives Matter. Life. That's what? Black. No, you guys are gonna repeat after me. Black
Lives Matter.
What?
Lives Matter.
Actually, working there, and this is actually the phone number is actually a number. I think 202 is actually a number, and we're just gonna call right now. Yeah, this is the 202. I think that's a DC number.
Thank you for calling Precision Strategies. Hello, Kristen Avery is unavailable. Please leave a message.
To leave a voicemail, press 2. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey Kristen, I'm sorry to leave you this message, but I was really trying to contact Jen O'Malley Dillon, but she doesn't seem to be in the directory. So I saw they were in charge of campaign management, and I saw that Precision Strategies, with Dillon is actually working on Kamala's campaign. And Kamala's really bad on criminal justice issues. She has a history of, trying to deny wrongful convictions, and it's really hurting her campaign chances.
After time, when progressives urged her to embrace criminal justice reforms as district attorney and then the state's attorney general, Ms. Harris opposed them or stayed silent, wrote Baselon, the former director of Loyola Law School Project for the Innocent. Most troubling, Ms. Harris fought tooth and nail to uphold wrongful convictions that been secured through official misconduct that included evidence tampering, false testimony, and the suppression of crucial information by prosecutors.
Now, I work with a unique group of criminal justice reformists, including the wrongfully incarcerated, who I think Mutio John Musiba has received several calls. I actually have a live stream on my, I posted a video on my channel of him calling this office.
This is General Muti Ajimu Sabiru. General is my title. Muti Ajimu Sabiru is my name. We are about, this is 07-25-24, and it's approximately 8:25. We're about to call the New York City or the New York State, I'm not sure which one it is, I think it's New York City, office of Kamala Harris and supporters, and we're going to see whether or not they're going to accommodate us or they're just going to, bum rush us and take us through the rigmarole like normally politicians do. All right, here we go. The number is 202-888-0014. Now we're going to make an appointment with them and see what they do. Here we go.
Thank you for calling Precision Strategies. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it at any time. To reach our company directory, please press 1. To leave a voicemail in our general voicemail box, please press 2. Thank you and have a great day.
Now we're going to press 1.
To leave a voicemail, press 2. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hi, Kristen. I am calling from Chicago. I know you have some sort of responsibility with Kamala Harris's campaign management, and I am calling on behalf of a group of us affiliated with DJL7. We know that Kamala is not addressing criminal justice reform issues, and we would like very much to speak with you about it. My name is Corey, and
I have a bunch of people that have been calling the office. Some of them have been wrongfully incarcerated for decades. Some of them are in Pennsylvania, a key swing state. Some of them they're all over the country. These issues could help allay the concerns with Kamala Harris or be weaponized against Kamala Harris. And, just want to bring attention right quick to Reverend Keith Gadsden and Nolan Farrell here in New York. Vincent Moto from Pennsylvania, the first man freed on DNA evidence, and there's more, right? Ronald Long, who's from a death row in New Jersey. Now, I do have evidence that, Republicans have also been covering up some of these issues too, so I'm not saying the Democrats have a monopoly on, screwing over people who are wrongfully incarcerated, but, once again, I think it would be a great coup for, Precision Strategies to really try to heal, right?
But being friendly and being a friend, I think, are two different things. I think there are many whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. Civically, psychologically, and otherwise. It's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro, who actually differs from the white conservative in the same way that the fox differs from the wolf. Their appetite is the same. Their motives are the same. It's only their mannerisms and methods that differ.
The slave master took Tom and dressed him well and fed him well and even gave him a little education. Gave him a long coat and a top hat.
So what?
And made all the other slaves look up to him. Then he used Tom to control them. The same strategy that was used in those days
come on.
is used
This is
today
ridiculous.
by the same white man. He take a Negro, so-called Negro, and make him prominent. Build him up. Publicize him. Make him a celebrity. And then he becomes a spokesman for Negroes and a Negro leader. I would like to just mention one thing else quickly, and that is the method that the white man uses, how the white man uses these big guns or Negro leaders against the black revolution. They're not a part of the black revolution. They're used against the black revolution.
Word up. Come on. Yeah, it's well wicked.
I'm suspicious of whites who join Negroes and always have to be in the lead, who always have to be the head, who always have to be at the top in Negro organizations. Those whites who really have the interest of blacks at heart, let them give some advice to some Negroes and stand on the sideline. But don't join the organization and then get at the head of it and pose as a friend of Negroes.
Well, I would defend his sincerity and his commitment. And more than that, I would say that just because a person is a Negro or a black American does not mean he's going to struggle for Negro rights or for jobs for Negroes or anything else. I think that today you could point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has been betrayed Negroes, who has not been endorsed, sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberals.
Let me introduce myself. I am Susan Maud Bookser Lahaki. I am running for President of the United States. I was actually always pro-death penalty until I started hearing some of these stories of these wrongful incarcerated people, and I've completely changed my view. I had been living in Switzerland for 20 years, and so I had been also voting from abroad. And one of the states, when I was running in 2020, they wanted to know, did I vote in the last couple of elections? And I knew that one of them I hadn't. And I knew that while living abroad, I missed 2 elections when I could have voted. And I asked the lady, I said, did I vote in all the elections? And she said yes. So that means somebody voted 2 times for me, certainly, if not every time. So I don't know if my vote ever got counted while I was living abroad. And these are just the beginnings of the problems I discovered. But I think the biggest problem is the fraud and the manipulation and the corruption in our government. And it's actually not so much the government, it's the people running the government. It's the Democrats and the Republicans. They're sadly working together, and they have been manipulating all of our votes for 100 years at least. And, you know, it was not my intention to focus my platform on corruption, but I had to do this because we cannot go forward as a country with the amount of corruption that we've got in the system.
So how can people, once again, this is Susan, once again, she actually represents she ran for the Republicans. She's a former Green presidential candidate. She has possible fusion of progressives with the Republican movement to try to address, right, a lot of things going on. As a woman, okay, do you feel like you were given a fair shot to run in this election?
No, I don't think. I was with the Republicans. They were quite helpful, but they didn't help enough. They didn't put me in the right direction. So absolutely not.
Just so you know, Kamala, you got a lot of work to do, right? Your fellow women are having problems running for office, having problems getting a fair shot. Something's up. It's rigged. I want to ask you right quick, how can people find out about your campaign? You got a website. What's up?
Yeah, so you can find out more about my lawsuit at susan4usa.com, and that's Susan4usa.com.
All right, folks, next up we have a candidate from another nation. The fact of the matter is that as a president, Kamala's going to have to be covering international issues, but how does my man Jeremiah Kambo, running for president of Namibia, feel about what's going on? I want to hear from a national standpoint, how do you feel about this administration?
I know you're going to dig this.
Yeah, my name is Jeremiah Kambo. I'm from the country called Yemen, Southwest Africa, today known as Namibia. One thing that I know from the 60s, there is a guy called Desmond Tutu from South Africa and Donald Trump. Among them, they were one of the people that were giving scholarship to the black students that came here in New York to try to get education so that they can liberate our country. So don't let these people fool you that Donald Trump is racist. We know him, that's one thing. 2, the same people that are exploiting the resources in Namibia, that are exploiting, it's all over the whole globe. When you talk about Joe Biden, we know him of a crime bill crime bills that he introduced in the 80s and the 90s, in the 90s. So Kamala Harris is the same. She falls under the same tree. There is no difference. Let nobody fool you. We are all fighting one common enemy. And there is an organization, fake organization called United Nations that is there to divide and conquer all the nations. That's one of the organizations that betrayed our Namibian independence and gave us people who don't know to control us. How on earth if you tell us we have independence and freedom in our country, but meanwhile there were crimes committed by the same organization that you imposed into us to control us. That is running the country up to today. We don't know where did that organization came from. But it was imposed by United Nations. There is no freedom. They are giving us people we don't know, enforce them to us, and then through them is how they are collaborating, steal all of the resources without any consent of our people. And that's not only in Namibia, in Africa, it's all over. So each and everybody, we need to wake up and understand. Let us put our differences aside and let us speak one voice, because we all have one common enemy. Thank you very much and have a great day.
How can people find about your campaign, about your website, and keep on top of your work?
Actually, I have my email, kambofornamibia@gmail or kambofornamibia@yahoo.com. Don't let this deep state globalists fool you. Just try to unite and fight against these people. These people are evil. They are trying to. One thing that you have to be careful about communists that they are trying to introduce here. It's we call it cultural revolution. They have already implemented in Namibia, where I come from. The same tactics that they are using here, they have already implemented in Namibia.
My combo from Namibia, we got Kamala Harris, whose mother's from India, whose father's from Jamaica. Somehow she's African American. We got an actual African right here, not just any African guy running for president of Namibia. Where I talk about the international things that are going on with some strong warnings. A very good friend of mine, I've known him for several years. I was alive for several years. Tom Zamich. Guys, I want you to pay attention to what this guy is saying. Just, this guy's run for a House of Representatives several times. Honestly, this is one of the best people that I got speaking up here today. And if you want to make your issue work, if you want to understand this game, Tom is one of the best people in the game. So please, folks, if you're my friend, please pay attention to what this man's saying right now. He's one of the best in the game.
Thank you very much. We need to come together. There is so much injustice in this world that God wants us to fight the injustice. And we are here to fight that injustice. I am running for Congress because Congress is unjust. They have their own little boys club, little girls club, and we ain't in it. Okay? Just like George Collins said, we ain't in it. We need to stand and fight back for our rights, for a thing that a lot of people died for years ago, okay, about 240 some years ago, a thing here called the Constitution, okay, the Constitution of the United States of America. This is one of the reasons why I am running for office, because as you can see, the particular topic of the protest today is the injustice and the wrongful incarceration of people. Well, guess what? Whether you know it or not, even in me, in my own life, 18 years old, and long story short, between everything, I ended up with disorderly conduct. And they were going to arrest me. They put me in the car, blah, 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 blah. I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, what are we going to do? They put the cuffs on me, the whole thing. The next thing you know, they gave me a ticket. So, all right, the hell, it's just a ticket. So I go to the judge in the justice system. Before the judge, he asks me, what do you plead? I says, I plead not guilty. I wasn't doing anything. All I did was walk out of the store. I judge says, boom, $50 fine. And that's it. I'm like, standing there, like holding, you know what? And I'm like, what the hell is this? And all of a sudden, you know, the guard comes over to me and says, no, you gotta get out. That's it. You go pay your fine. I didn't even get a chance to speak. Not even a chance to speak. Okay? Even though I pled not guilty. That was the first encounter in law how I knew this country was messed up. Okay, now here it is, 40 so years later. I am running for office for the House of Representatives in Queens, New York, District 6 against a known, supported communist Grace May, okay, who has a lock on the neighborhood. And no one ran against her for 5 elections. Her intimidation tactics of the Democrat Party in Queens to shut you down. And we're not afraid of nobody. The only one I'm afraid of is God. I got to answer to God whether or not I fulfilled the mission or not. I'm standing up for justice and making sure that our American citizens are treated fairly and correctly according to our Constitution. And that is what representatives in Congress are supposed to do. They're not supposed to be making all these silly little idiot laws and passing all these bills and putting our country in debt with all of these stupid little Green New Deal bullshit and everything like that. And what's going to happen in 10, 15 years? What now, in just only 3.5 short years, this administration has ran up our debt $12 trillion. Now, mind you, in 243 years, all the way up to Obama, before Obama, the national debt was only $1.5 trillion. After Obama was finished, it was $9 trillion. And then after Obama was out, it was $18 trillion. Okay? We went into debt because of the Afghanistan war. Now, the Afghan war is another story. 17 years of our lives. How many thousands of lives were lost? How many thousands of lives of our soldiers were killed over there? For what? For the embarrassment of Joe Biden and his administration pulling out of there 3 years ago and leaving all our money and equipment over there. Forget this, our lives. How many thousands of lives were lost? How many thousands of lives of our soldiers were killed over there? For what? For the embarrassment of Joe Biden and his administration pulling out of there 3 years ago and leaving all our money and equipment over there. Forget about the equipment, really, because that can always be replaced. It's the lives that were lost, the sacrifice of our volunteer army that went over there to help those Afghan citizens over there. This is what we're talking about. Injustice. Injustice. All for what? For nothing. And they don't care nothing about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about nothing but themselves. The Democrat Party is nothing but themselves. Look how quickly they can raise money quickly. All of a sudden they announce Harris, $200 million. Where is this money coming from? There is investigations, and hopefully we screamed loud enough over the last 4 years that finally there are some truths coming out about Act Blue, about all the funny donations underneath the table, foreign donations, because I know even my opponent is accepting these Act Blue payments. $1,500 a day. I called officers. I called everybody. I'm trying to get an investigation. What's going on? How can you say it's exactly $1,500 a day and all it says is Act Blue in the papers and there's nobody else? It goes through Act Blue, through the nonprofits, whatever. This is what we're talking about. Corruption. Corruption in the justice system. Corruption in the political system. Corruption in the election system. Corruption in America is what we need to stop. All this corruption, and it needs to stop now, this election. We need to elect Donald Trump. We need to get everything together. Look at General Flynn. Look what they did to all these people when they're putting in jail. Everybody who's conservative who speaks out has ended up in jail. And meanwhile, there's Menendez taking money from foreign governments. There's, what's his name, Salwell with the Chinese spy. They're not doing nothing about that. That's why I need to go to Washington, put all of this together, and get everybody investigated. And then right here at home, right here in New York, whatever happened to de Blasio's wife testifying for the DRIVE program that lost $1.5 billion that for the homeless. This was before the migrant crisis that we have now, right? $1.5 billion that was lost, put into the pocket, under the table, all gone. And guess what happened? She was supposed to testify on the 11th of March in federal court, but de Blasio declared March 9th, 2 days before, oh no, no more gatherings, no more courts, no more nothing, COVID crisis, boom, boom, boom. Just how convenient was that they shut her out. And since then, no one has mentioned it. No one has said anything. She got away scot-free, but guess what? We're going to go after them. We're going to get independent investigations, independent prosecutors to go after every single one of these accountable people, Hillary Clinton all the way down. And I'm mentioning that name because, you know, you might not see me after I mention that name, right? You know what I mean? You know the way it is now. But anyway, I'd like to say to everybody right now, since we're all here, this wrongful incarcerated people, on this one subject, I'd like to take a 15-second moment of silence to pray for these people who have been wrongfully incarcerated, the people who are still wrongfully incarcerated, and the people who if we don't change it, this justice system is going to put them in wrongfully incarcerated. So I'd like to take this time right now, count it off, okay? Just say a little prayer, and hopefully God will do the right thing and help us out, and we will change this system right now. Thank you.
So now, Grace, are you here? We have all the cans coming through. We're going to hear from some activists in a hot moment. Come on up, Grace, yeah? Just going to give a shout out to one of the co-organizers of today's event, the Conservative Party. Thanks again. All right, a third party movement on the ballot. We're going to talk about some other third parties in a moment, but Grace, go ahead.
My name is Grace Marrero. I'm the candidate for the 80th Assembly District in the Bronx. I am the recording secretary of the Bronx Conservative Party. I'm a lifelong Bronxite. Stop. You guys can stop and listen. It's okay. So why are we here? We're here to rally against Kamala Harris. But why are we here? You know, all politics is local. And Kamala Harris is the epitome of how you get ahead when you bed the right people. People need to realize how important the local elections are. That starts with your city council, your mayor, your judges. Judges are very important. Your district leaders, your committeemen. You need to know who these people are because they have a great influence on the local politicians. You need to know who your local politicians are. You need to have a relationship with them. You need to be in their face if you need to be in their face. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. You can't sit by and say, okay. No. You have to get up, and sometimes you may have to get a little radical to make them listen. So I'm here because I want to remind people that politics starts at the local level. It's all fine to be on the federal, that's fine, but it doesn't start, it starts at the local level. And people need to really, really, really change how they think, how they do things, instead of going with the flow. I tell people, if you don't start changing and looking who your candidates are, you're just gonna stay on that plantation, okay? Slavery might be over, but not really, because there's a new plantation. It's called a mental plantation. People have been brainwashed to think a certain way. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, folks. Yeah. Once again, right there. Look, I'm one of the organizers. Thanks again. Sorry about being a little bit tight on things, but I stand for the little people. And the fact of the matter is that some people just want to talk about Trump getting elected. I'm not saying that that's not an unworthy cause. But are you going to take care of us or not? Are you going to help the wrongfully incarcerated or not? Are you going to work on these issues or not? Yeah? What's your priority? Is it winning or is it helping us? We're going to hear from another actress right now, Savannah Craig, in respect to her work. I think she's trying to save some lives out here. What's up? Let's go.
Hi, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today to discuss this issue of great importance. Oh, yes. Hello, camera. The policies and the positions on abortion advocated by Vice President Kamala Harris My name is Savannah Craven. I am a pro-life activist here in the City for Students for Life of America. And we live in a time when the debate over the sanctity of life and the rights of preborn children is more intense than ever before. I have literally heard people say that they don't care about any other issues other than abortion as long as their candidate is going to allow abortion on demand. That's who they're voting for. And it is so crucial that we critically examine when those policies may be too extreme and out of step for the value of most Americans. Kamala Harris has been a long advocate for unrestricted abortion access, and her policies reflect an extreme stance that disregards the complexities of the issue and the moral concerns of millions and millions of Americans. Her position on abortion can be characterized by three main points: support for late-term abortion, opposition to common sense restrictions, and disregard for the rights of the preborn. First, let's talk about late-term abortion. Kamala Harris has consistently supported the right, quote-unquote, right to abortion up until the moment of birth. Late-term abortions are a deeply troubling aspect of her stance. By the time a pregnancy reaches its final stages, the preborn child is fully developed, capable of feeling pain, and often viable outside of the womb. The idea that these innocent, precious, little babies could be aborted at this stage is not only morally distressing, but also out of touch with the opinion of the majority of Americans. Even most pro-abortion advocates are not for abortion up until the moment of birth. And so we believe that this is too far, and we need to protect children from when they come into existence until their moment of death. During her time as Attorney General of California, Harris engaged in a sustained campaign against pro-life journalist David Daleiden for his undercover videos showing Planned Parenthood allegedly and illegally selling aborted baby body parts. In the video, one of the abortionists says, "You told me about the proposition, and so now every time I do a D&E, which is a dilation and evacuation abortion, I'm like, oh, there's some lungs, there's some kidneys. This is sick." In March 2016, Kamala ordered agents to raid Daleiden's apartment and seize the videos. Upon Planned Parenthood's request, Harris opened a criminal investigation on Daleiden that has been going on for 9 years. Harris never investigated Planned Parenthood, even with the ample evidence that they were selling and trafficking aborted baby parts. She was also the first sitting vice president to host a campaign in an abortion facility. And given her identity as a brown woman or a quote-unquote person of color, it's pretty disgusting that knowing that Planned Parenthood was founded on the idea of eugenics and racism to get rid of the black race is really disturbing, and it's a really sad historical moment for our country. Second, Harris opposes common sense restrictions on abortion, such as parental consent laws, waiting periods, and bans on partial birth abortion. Parental consent laws, for example, ensure that minors do not make such a life-altering decision without the guidance of their parents. A 16-year-old can barely even drive a car, deciding whether to get an abortion or not by themselves without the help and assistance of their parents or an elder person is just ridiculous. These measures are not radical. They are responsible efforts to ensure that women are fully informed and supported in their decisions, and that the rights of the preborn are also taken into an account. Third, and perhaps the most troubling, it is the disregard for rights of the preborn that is inherent in Kamala Harris's abortion policies. Her stance is that one denies the humanity of human beings in the womb, of these unborn children, and treating them more like a choice rather than a life with inherent value. This extreme position ignores the scientific evidence that life begins at the moment of fertilization. And to deny these basic facts and ignore the moral responsibility, we have to protect the most vulnerable human beings among us. As citizens, we have a duty to stand up against policies that go too far and advocate for a more balanced, compassionate approach that respects the rights of both women and their preborn children. In conclusion, we must be vigilant in opposing policies that are way too extreme and advocating for protection of life at every stage. Let us continue to work together to create a culture that values life, supports women, and upholds the dignity of every human being, born and preborn. And let us make sure that Kamala Harris never, ever steps into that White House as the President of the United States. Thank you.
Raul, ready? Come on up, Raul. Another strong actress. Oh, wait, Savannah, wait a minute, yeah? Can you tell people how to follow your stuff? You're on Instagram, share your website, all of that.
Yes, you can find me, Savannah Craven, on, just look up my name, you'll find it on Instagram, anything. I speak at a lot of events talking about protecting the preborn and working with students on campus to make sure that pregnant and parenting students have resources. Because the thing is that Planned Parenthood isn't going to be there when you want to keep your baby. They're going to tell you that your life is over. And you know what? I was unplanned as well. And people did tell my mom, well, abortion would be easier. And in the moment it does seem that way. But they don't tell you the other risks that come afterwards, like the grief and the guilt. And so we need to be there for women. They need to know all of their options before they make the choice to abort their child, because they could be making a decision that they can never undo. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Savannah Craven, once again, is with a C, yeah? All right, folks, come on. This is my man, Raul Rivera, done a lot of strong work. Thank you so much, yeah? This corruption, we're trying to fight it. Go ahead, Raul.
So I'm just going to say a few words. I want to say thank you to the organizers. Thank you to Dion. Thank you to Dion. Thank you to the organizers of this event. We know this is New York City. We know New York is blue. But we are not all woke. We are not all woke in this city. And we say that we're gonna vote for Trump. Trump is gonna take New York. There's a lot of undercovers. And they're gonna vote for that guy. They're gonna vote for, we support Donald Trump. You know, in New York City, we have a city council. Let me read this instead. Let me read this. And so this is a few choice words for the mayor and the city council. A couple of points that we want to make out. When you have a mayor who says, "Show me the money," and says it's all about the money, then you know he cannot be trusted. And I know that there are more like him. You know why? Because I'm from the Bronx, and I know a hustler when we see one. We know a hustler. And the Adams is a hustler. He's a pimp and a hustler. We have nothing personal against them, but when you say, "Show me the money," when you say it's all about the money, then what you are a pimp and a hustler. That's what you are. And you're pimping out New York, and we know this, and we call you out. It's our right to do so. Also, to the city council, they say they defend us. The city council, we got 51 council members. And the city council is full of blacks, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Asians, and they don't defend us. Words for the Progressive Caucus, aka Oppressive Caucus, aka the Posse, the race hustlers, speak about racism and white supremacy, and yet the city council is full of blacks, Puerto Ricans, Asians. It's not the white man, it's not Donald Trump, it's our own people screwing us. And New York needs to wake up. You have to wake up. When it comes to congestion pricing, did they say anything? They didn't say anything about congestion pricing. City of Yes, they don't say nothing about the City of Yes. We say City Yes is bullshit, that's what that is. They want to rezone our city. They want to do that for the developers, for Stephen Ross, for the billionaires. That's what they want to do. They're pushing out people of color from the city. I'm a native New Yorker. I was born here. I have every right to stay here in this city. Why am I being pushed out? Because they only care for the developers, not people of color. They support Kamala Harris, huh? And Joe Biden and all these woke politicians. New York is gonna vote red. When Governor Kathy Hochul says a racist remark about blacks in the Bronx, not knowing what a computer is, they don't say nothing, they stood quiet. Not one word, not one peep. But if Donald Trump said something like that, they would crucify the guy. I'm gonna end this with a quote. I like quotes a lot, I think quotes are very important. So I wanna share this quote and share it, because it's very important. You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. We fighting for the taxi driver. We fighting. You can follow us on Raul Rivera 125 at TikTok. You can follow us on X, Raul NYC Drivers Unite.
Christopher Leon Johnson, the most prolific reporter in New York City history, has also covered our events where we were in front of Melinda Katz, protesting the corruption and the delaying of justice for Reverend Keith Gatson. Christopher Leon Johnson, I'm a huge fan. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, so what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody?
My name is Christopher Leon Johnson. I'm in my personal capacity right now, but I do political media. I cover every rally possible. I cover all the sides. I don't take any biases. I cover Republicans, Democrats, conservatives, socialists. I know you guys hate socialists here, far-right people, but I want to give my shout out to DJL7 for hosting this event. Thanks to everybody coming out here. Shout out to King AOK News. He's going to get it viral. Shout out to King AOK. He's out here. Like I said, he came out after me. So everybody's busy, but DJ, he's like one of the only guys here that helps out everybody. He gave me like 5,000 cards, to be exact. So I appreciate that, DJ. DJ is a helpful guy. He contributes a lot to the city. Real unappreciated gentleman right here. People need to support him. If you can, please donate to his donate to I don't know how he's going to fundraise, and subscribe to the channel and keep on supporting, because he supports. You come out here supporting him. He appreciate appreciate all you guys support. So shout out to Savannah Craven for coming out here and supporting. I was busy, so shout out to Savannah Craven. Like I said, she's like one of the most prolific activists and journalists in the city of New York and throughout the country. So. Let me make this clear, guys. I do business with organizations, so I can't be really political. I can't pick a side, but I think we all know what's going on here in New York City alone with congestion pricing. We got to pull congestion pricing. The reason congestion pricing is bad because if you're poor and you live in a poor district, then you're going to be affected by this. You're going to be, even like I said, you don't drive, and people that do business in the city got to pay more to get in. Who think they're going to who think they're going to drive the money to? You guys. You guys got to pay a little more money. So you guys have to hold it. There's no going in between with congestion pricing. Another thing is bail reform. We got to repeal bail reform, guys. Bail reform is really destroying the city of New York, destroying the whole state of New York, and destroying the fabric of it. We all see what happened in the Bronx with that lady who got choked and raped. There's a lot of crimes I could go on day. It's so graphic. It's like it's got to be repealed. Bragg is in the borough of Bragg. Bragg is a big problem in the city. Well, four of the DAs, that's part of the problem. McMahon in Staten Island, Katz in Queens, Gonzalez in the Brooklyn, Mike Borough, and the Bronx is Darcel Clark. They all got to go. We got to place them with mainly more conservative, moderate, real conservative district attorneys. And we got to start funding our police, guys. We got to fund the police, fund them, stop funding these cure violence organizations. Let me tell you a quick thing about cure violence, is that these organizations, like the cure violence organizations, violent interrupters, we call them in Republican circles, they are political organizations, right? Political organizations, these politicians, they only care about is galvanizing a lot of votes. These cure violence organizations, all they do is galvanize votes, and that's the reason why they get funded. When it comes to defund the police, what's the point? What the point to defund police? You strip the money away from the cops, you take away the cop resources, and you give it to these corrupt non-profits that all they do is bully, intimidate regular civilians, and galvanize votes. But while they try to smoke screen us with photo ops and free food giveaways and book bags and all this type of etc. So let's make that clear. Another thing is I know this is I think it's anti-Kamala. I know Mr. Pete Gasson. I know your story. You know, you should be exonerated for your crime. So it just, like I said, she screwed over a rapper. I think it's like, what was his name? Is Jamal True Love in California. You look it up. Jamal True Love, Kamala Harris on YouTube. She did this guy dirty. He didn't do the crime. She was really bent on making sure this guy suffered for a crime he didn't commit, to the point that he got exonerated and she had to pay out $10 million. Now, Kamala will never apologize for the mistake she made to him, because it's all about she don't want to hold herself accountable for what she did to him. Just like you, Mr. Keith Gasson, I know your case is in the Bronx in Queens. Katz is a machine candidate. She's a machine politician. She does whatever she got to do for the machine, and she's going to do whatever she got to protect the PBA officers, PBA members, and the DEA members. So just Mr. Pete Gasson should be free. Let me see who else. Shallow Raul Rivera. I totally forgot about you. I mean, I love you, bro. I love you. Yeah. I can't be political, but I love you. You can say I can't be political, but I can't be political. So reason I can't do it because I'm a member of the United. I do business with the UN. I don't work there, but I'm part of a nonprofit, and we can't be political in federal races. When it comes to the Trump or Kamala Harris, I cannot be political. So, yeah, thank you.
That's right. I like that song.
How did that happen? I don't know.
I like
but I had
that
to
song.
start it all over again.
Written while he was in prison 30 plus years. Kamala, where's the justice? You gonna help us now or not? You're either helping us now or you're not. Thanks.
So I wrote this song. I call it Renew Me. I went to 6 parole boards. All of my state appeal remedies is exhausted. I was stuck in prison for a crime I didn't perpetrate. In Washington, D.C., the Supreme Court denied me entry. They only accepted maybe 2% of criminal matters, and they were capital punishment cases. So I was stuck in prison like a fly on a carpet.